Voila. Okay, welcome everyone officially to Magic of Magency. This is my way to share a bit of one of my favorite topics is making dances. It's something I have been geeking out over as long as I remember. I've been making dances as a little one, not good dances, bad dances, just bopping along in the living room. And through all the adventures of my life, I also applied it somehow to Oriental dance. And I think the topic of Majense is interesting. I hope for any dancer, even if you're not pure Oriental dancer, we also have burlesque performers here, because the concept of making dances and making a dance work well, I think it's universal. There's many things you can do to make a dance more interesting for you and for your audience. And Majense, because there's so much you can do with it, is a good example, but the context will be wider. Okay. First of all, let me know in the chat, if you like, if you know what Magency is or not. Just for me to know how deep I go with the introduction of it. Have you ever heard of it? Have you ever performed it? Or have you ever made one? Okay, yes, I know Cecilia knows an intro piece. Yes, yes, yes. Sophie, nope, it's an intro piece. I will talk about it later. Crystal, yes. It's okay if you don't know, by the way. I learned it quite late in my belly dance life because I started Turkish style first. I didn't know a lot about Egyptian dance or the terms of it. And danced it. Even made one, really good. And okay, I love the diversity in it. Yes, Crystal, that's key. That's why I chose this theme, even though I want to actually sneakily teach about making dances in general. And Carol, haven't created my own. Nila said, yes, I love to dance. Nila, have you made one already? Or is it uh, more or less, she says? Okay. I think Majense, okay, I'll start with the beginning. Majense is a term from Egyptian dance. It's a bit of a, how to say it, the word itself is phonetic and there's different theories about where it comes from, but what it is quite clear, and that's a dance that is created for, or a musical piece that is created for dancers. It's supposed to be danced on. As you know, in Oriental dance, in belly dance, in Egyptian dance, or in Turkish, Lebanese dance, there's Oriental music, but there's also music that is specifically created for dancing. There's music for listening and music for dancing, but you can dance to whatever you like, of course. This music, Majense, created for dance, means it has a lot that you can work with because the musicians in their mind are trying to make the dancer or help the dancer show what she can do. And tradition, very famous dancers, that's the doorbell of Zoom. The famous dancers in Egypt, they have Majenses made for them. So there can be a Lucy Majense, there's plenty of Dina Majenses. And what's nice about this is if you are a dancer and you have an orchestra make a Majense for you, you can put in or have put in anything that you like. If you love Saidi, you have a bit of Saidi in there. If you love Samai or classical rhythms, you have that. If you are a drum solo lover, you put a big drum solo in there. So Majensi is kind of like a dance that is made for you. And if you're a dancer who doesn't have her own orchestra, you can choose the ones that are already made. And with new technology, you can maybe even cut and paste them if it's done well. This works, and have one made for you by yourself. So Majense, a deeper definition, I will give you a link to Shira.net's website. She has a dictionary of belly dance and also many, many examples. She was my source 20 years ago when there was not so much information on the internet. And it's so well structured that still now it is a gold mine. So I'll send it to you. If you have any questions about belly dance at all, she will have a link to it. Also, Farida Fahmy has really great articles as well to go deeper. But for now, it's enough that you know it's a piece that starts a show, an intro piece, not just an intro, but it has an introduction, it has different rhythms and different styles from folklore or maybe classical, maybe even floor work, and maybe a drum solo, and then a finale. The middle part, it's It depends. It depends on who it was made for, and also depends on, sorry, let me read the comments before I forget. Emergency is created for one dancer. Yes. Regional, many different music, different energy, and longer. Yes, it's a longer piece, usually 4 to 12 minutes it can be, something like that. And if you are a competition dancer, it's always heartbreaking because you have to let beautiful pieces go. So it's Emergency, the originals, they are longer pieces, but you can choose how much you use of it. The structure of Emergency is recognizable if you hear a couple of them. I will also send you a list of songs to listen to just for getting an idea. Let me see. I'm deciding if I'm going to write or speak. Okay, so it's clear-ish, yes, what Emergency is. It's a piece rich in orchestra because it's traditionally made with a full orchestra. Now, maybe it's made digitally, but still you have many layers in the music, which makes it interesting as a learning tool. So even if you don't dance Emergencies, working with one, creating one is a very good learning tool. I recommend, okay, let me know in the comments if you prefer to improvise or choreograph or a mix. I know I asked some of you on Facebook, but let me know also while I get up and draw a bit. I'm a little bored. Yes. And after that, we'll warm up before I throw more, more info on you. Can you read that? Can you read it? Well, so Magic of Emergency, it's intro, it's orchestra, so many instruments, many layers, you have rhythms, melody, details, everything, and it's made for dance, or a dancer, and most importantly, it has different parts. And because it has different parts, very, very, very important for creating, dancing, learning Emergency is working on transitions. And transitions will be one of the themes of books, but also today I will give you my, my quick fixes for making your transitions more smooth. And if you work on your transitions, it doesn't matter if you improvise or choreograph, it'll look coherent, it'll look smooth. And also if you use the power of danceology, what makes a dance interesting and what makes a dance beautiful, plus your soul, you put your personality in it and your movement background, it doesn't matter what it is. Please, please, please know that no matter what your life has been up till now, it's all valuable. It's all what makes you you, and that is what people want to see. There's no use in comparing yourself to others, maybe to learn techniques or to get a taste of a style. Of course you study, but to perform, what is most important is what is within you already. You don't have to wait until you know a certain technique for that. You can practice that with a hip circle. Okay, so so I want you to give yourself the assignment to, at least once in your life, make Emergency. Make one. You don't have to perform it for anyone, just for you, but if you make one, you will learn how to listen to different layers of music. You will learn how to transition between different atmospheres. And if you make it for an imaginary stage, it can be your kitchen. You will learn how to work with space. And all of that, plus transitions, will make you a great student. Even if you prefer just to learn dances, you will know how it's made, you will know how it works, and you will enjoy it more. And if you're an improviser, making one Emergency with the power of your brain and your soul and your experience will give you new ideas for next time you improvise. It will make you a better dancer for improvisation. And if you are a choreographer, I challenge you to do the opposite. You are going to improvise a full Emergency. And then you will have the best of both worlds. So to be a better choreographer, improvise. To be a better improviser, choreograph. And to study or to learn choreographies and remember them better, try to teach one to your dog, your cat, your friend, or to yourself. Imagine you're a teacher and you're giving this info or you're giving this dance to someone else, this will make you really transform how you process it, even in your body. If you try to show it to someone, you for sure are more aware, and this will burn it into your mind and so on. Okay, let me read the comments. I love to mix. My head still needs a lot of choreography. Yes, Carol, that's totally normal. I would say go deep. Make a very complex dance once, and then after that you can be more free because you'll have all this experience in there. Also, take classes in choreography, even if you don't prefer it, do it once to challenge yourself, and it'll make you a better creator also. Choreograph most of the time, a mix beginning and end, mainly improvise, mix but have a frame, 80% choreo, 20% improvisation depending on familiarity with song, dance technique. Choreograph, mix beginning and end choreographed. Yes, so a very important point, the beginning and the end of your dance, whichever it is, it's the most important. If you mess up in the middle, it's fine. Even in ballet, my ballet teacher says, okay, doesn't matter what you do. Make sure you nail the ending with your energy, and make sure you burst on the stage with everything you have, even if it's a slow intro, with your energy. So it doesn't even matter so much how it is choreographed. It is, but it isn't. The energy you bring to the beginning and the end, that is what captivates the audience, and that is when you get in the zone. So yes, let's move. Let's move. I can talk about this for many hours, but I don't want to make it too theoretical. So yes, let's get up, move our body a bit, otherwise it's too much info for, excuse me for the sound, it is in your back. So yes, no matter what you do, if you are going to make a dance or learn a dance, connecting to your body is the thing that will make everything better. If you want to try and get better at a certain technique, but you don't feel what you're doing, you will have to take a long time. And if you want to learn something, but you're kind of exhausted, it won't work. So taking care of you is what I would say is number one, and then everything else becomes better. Even if you will have less time to practice dance, taking care of you, give yourself sleep, healthy food, water, coffee, love, give it to yourself, and then you will need less practice. I swear, it works this way around. That being said, let's do some nice things for yourself. You will not be able to see both my head and my feet, but it's not so important today. Just want to come out of it. So, simply standing, shaking out a bit, putting away my ear blocks, and breathing. This you can do backstage if you want to perform. Always move everything, move all your joints, don't let any parts out. Even if it looks a bit strange, it's healthy and it saves you time to just move everything at once. And it's freeing also. Get your chi, your energy moving. Okay, now let's breathe in deep. And out. Natural breathing. And again, with feet a bit wider, breathe in deep. Open up everything, close everything. Yes. Sway to the side. And rotating my upper body and letting my elbow lead behind me. Breathe in, comb your hair and put the weight on one leg and bend it a bit just to warm up the leg and switch. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Leg up. 1, 2, 3. This will warm up your core. Anything balance. Try a little pose. 1, 2, different pose. 1, 2, different pose. Yes, very nice. All right. So this little bit, what we've just done, is one of my favorite tricks. It's tricks. I am like a circus artist when I perform. Uh, Tricks that I use to give myself and the audience a little pause is going into different visuals. And I use the word pose for it. But as you noticed, we don't stop. We hold for a second, but I'm still breathing and moving. So I go in and out of different frames. And if you play with this for one song with 1, 2, 3, you will find out what looks good on you, what you like on you. And you need a few of these things in your pocket, no matter if you choreograph or improvise. These moments are the moments that the audience will remember. So in Imagine Say, there's always, always, always accents where you can really catch the audience. And if you know what to do with your arms or your legs or your ankles, the moment will be gone, or you'll be frustrated. So practicing just things like this, what dance poses you find cute or interesting, do that, and coming into them and going out of them, the transition between those, that is what will make it kind of a magic moment in your dance. So put one of those in your Imagine Say or in the next dance you do, and be alert if you are a dance student of these moments in dances that you learn, or if you see them in others, now you'll be aware of it. One dancer who does this really well is Aziza of Canada. She is a master in lines. She has a professional ballet background, and also does ballroom dancing. So she knows how to work a line, and it's really interesting how emotionally deep this can go. Just a little change in angles can communicate something completely different. So if you work on one thing, work on that. Work on nothing too complex, because from here you can move again, but work on a few lines for you that you like and you feel comfortable in. Power poses or romantic poses, whatever you like. And if you need inspiration, I have I have many things in Instagram where you can play with that. But this is something, make it suit you. Okay. Yes, and Crystal, you can use it for photo shoots as well. This is the double advantage. Okay, back to Imagine Say, or for making dances. I'm coming back. Have some water. Have some water after moving. Put everything in place. Can you read this? More or less, yes, like this. So this goes back. This goes back. Now, one of the let me read my notes so I don't forget anything. Yes. So, choreo versus improv, as I said, there's value in each of them. If you choreograph and you feel like, okay, when I perform it, I always forget it, there's two ways you can go. One, you can choreograph it and practice it so much that it becomes like a moving meditation. This means when you are making a dance, you have to keep on working on it, maybe once a day. Also sleep in between. If you try to make everything in 2 days, this won't happen, because there's this thing, this is the line of creativity. Let's see. That's time. And that's joy. How much you like it. And once you start a dance, you are enthusiastic. So you start and you love it. You love it, you love it. You have so many ideas, things you want to try. And then always comes a point where you start to get critical of what you just made, because your vision will always be beyond your skill and your body needs to catch up. So then you get maybe also stuck. So then the joy is a bit less. You start disliking the music, and nothing that you are making works. So you go, whoa. And maybe even you doubt yourself, do you even enjoy dancing anymore? It can go that low. But normally it goes up and down, up and down, up and down. If you keep on going, it goes up and down. You will love it again, you will hate it again. Only at the end, there's a turning point. Very, very late, later than usual. If I make a dance, I stop at one of these points where I kind of like it and it's not finished, but it's good enough. And it can go well or not so well. If you're here, it's better to improvise some parts, give yourself some freedom, and do the bits that you like best. But if you want to fully choreograph it and not feel dead inside, you have to go beyond this point, beyond the very deep dip to the end, where the joy is even bigger than in the beginning. And you will know that you are here on the way up when you start removing things from your dance, when you simplify. And I have only gotten to this point of simplification 2 times in 20 years. And in those 2 dances, I could perform them and it didn't feel like choreography. To me, it felt like magic. And to the audience, it felt like I was improvising, but it looked good. So, but it takes trust and patience to work on it so much that you start removing things and simplifying. And usually we are in a time crunch and there's stress and the deadline is here. So we just stop at wherever. And then you say, okay, I don't like choreography because it doesn't feel the same as when I improvise. And to get the improvised feeling, it's like with martial arts. If you're a grandmaster, you can do anything. Forms that you've done 1,000 times, they look like magic if they show it to the students, because they've done it so many times that it's part of their system. Yes, and you can do this in about 3-4 weeks if you really, really go for it. But even 3-4 weeks, it doesn't look like much on paper. I know it's a huge assignment with life next to it. If you have kids, or even if you don't have kids, if you have a job, even if dance is your job, there's always stuff. Yes, you have a life also. But if you promise yourself to work on it a little bit every day, instead of at once a lot and then get sick of it, then you can get there. This is iterative, because every time you sleep is when the ideas come. If you don't sleep in between, you will get just blockages. So these are all days. You need 3 weeks, 4 weeks. These are the final 3 days is when you remove stuff. So try this once in your life to get to that point. It's my other assignment. For something. It can also be for a martial art form. It can also be for a very short dance. It can be but for something, practice it so much that you start loving it again after you hated it. And see if it works and let me know if yes. Okay, so this is my biggest tip, I think, for making dances. If you have done this once, you will know it exists, and then you can choose, depending on your situation, how deep you go. Okay, another thing, what you do, you have music, you have your marche, all the stuff that's in the music, you have your audience. This can be your statues, anything in your living room, or your camera, or the people who watch your performance. And there is you in the middle. Yes, and no one else can dance or make a dance or perform quite like you, because you are everything that you are. You are all the dances that you've ever learned. You are all the music that you like. You are the person that you are, and no one really can translate music to an audience quite like you. And that is also something you have to burn into your heart, because it's easy to doubt yourself once you are in the lows of dancing, or when you're improvising and you feel like a sudden burst of loss of confidence. It can get you down, yes. And if you get into this spiral, the audience will be confused. If you don't love your music, or don't express that, the audience will not know if this is good or just if this is nice. But if you really love it, even if you just love the music, that's why music choice is so important. That love already goes there without you having to do any steps. You don't have to do fancy steps, but you have to love what you are doing. And it can be easier to love what you are doing if you're not in pain, mentally or physically. Also, that's why taking care of you will make this bridge between the music and others better, without you having to worry about knowing all the steps in the world or being the best at arabesques. You can work on that, yes, but giving yourself some love and positive self-talk throughout the process and in life, that is what makes a difference. I much rather see a beginner performer dance something easy and she loves it, than seeing a professional performer having an off day and just tuning it in. It can happen. So we don't perform that often as dancers, I think, not often enough. Even if you perform every day, it's only short. There's much more preparation than performance. So no matter what, give everything to this bit of performance. If you have a bad day, it can happen. Find something you are thankful for. Remember why you love dance and put that bit of joy in there. Also the poses or little accents or wings, you can be playful in dance, and we'll work on this in Boost. I have a week reserved for playing because if you start thinking, once you learn so much, you get maybe blocked of being free. There's this dip also in not knowing anything. That's always joyful. Knowing everything, joyful. In between, more difficult because you know what you don't know. And there it's important to stay playful. Yes, to find what makes you happy. And it can be winking in the middle of a drum solo, or it can be wiggling your eyebrows, or it can be doing a disco move. I've done all of that just to keep myself from crumbling and losing my confidence. I put something in there that makes me laugh, that makes me happy in each of my drum solos. And in Imagine Say, in the drum solo bit, I go nuts, I do weird stuff because it makes me more confident and makes me feel like I can be myself in some way. I am a dork, so there has to be some dorky stuff in my drum solos. Sometimes also in my romantic songs, but yes, of course, we all have different layers. I can be very emotional, so I put that in the emotional stuff. I can be strong if I have to defend someone else, even though I'm quite shy. So I draw on that kind of power. So the more you get to know yourself, the more you can use in Imagine Say or in different dance. You use different parts of you. You don't have to act. You have to just draw from yourself the different things. Okay. Does that make sense? Let me know if yes. Good. So I know this is a bit more abstract probably than you expected, but I think this is the kind of stuff that is not taught in many workshops. You can learn choreography and have this underneath, then you will know what to do with it, or why maybe the Saidi is like this, and then the Taksim is very introvert. You think, why is this dancer doing so many different things? If you can make this work for you, it will become natural. You don't have to think so much about changing it. You change your state of mind and your body will move differently. So you go from inside to out, not from outside to in. Yeah. Thank you, Ragnar. People remember the entrance into. Yeah, okay. Caught up with the comments. Now, let me. Can you see this? It's not important. I'm trying to clean my board with my mouse. That's how excited I am about this. Okay, so the anatomy of Imagine Say, which is also anatomy of a dance. If you want to, by the way, before I forget, if you want to learn more, The Art of Making Dances, it's not too big a book by Doris Humphrey, is also a gold mine of dance inspiration. If you want to learn how to work a stage, where the lines of power are, what you can do with improvisation, with lines, all of that is in here. I haven't finished this book and I had it for 15 years because it's so dense with information. I now just open it, read one page, and I'm inspired for a week. So I'll add this to the list. And if you get in trouble in the dips when you're making dancers or learning dances, Psychology of Dance is for dance teachers, but this can make you your own coach. I used this when I did competitions and needed someone to help me, but I didn't have money for a coach. So I got this book instead. It's Psychology of Dance. It's old. Some of the ideas are a bit outdated, but it also still has good stuff, good nuggets. And it's all about finding what makes you happy. Okay. Back to Imagine Say. So the anatomy of Imagine Say, what's in it usually? It helps to imagine your music as a piece of cake. One, it's easy, and two, it's something that makes you happy, and three, you can visualize a cake. Yes, anyone can do that. If you have Imagine Say cake, it's a long one. This can be, if it's 3 minutes, it's 30 centimeters of cake. If it's 10 minutes, it's 1 meter of cake. So that's your length, your long cake. And see, it goes like this. This. So a very long cake. The beginning of the cake, here, let's call it A. is the intro. That may be instrumental, the orchestra is warming up and you're not on stage yet, or you are on stage but you're kind of abstract. So the beginning of the cake is intro. Then comes the rhythm. When the rhythm starts, that's usually when the dancer appears if she was not on stage yet. So that would be part B of the cake. Then comes a change in the atmosphere. You might not know the rhythms, but you can feel it, that it becomes different. And that can be C, maybe Saidi. Then, if you're lucky, B will come back with some variation. So you can have this bit repeating after a little break with something else. And then you have E, F, G. 3 parts that you have not heard before, can be a samai, a little drum solo, and then another folkloric or slow rhythm. Usually the drum solo is at the end though, so let's say this one is the little drum solo. And then that's kind of the finale, E plus. The finale is usually a repeat of the intro, but with some more energy and some more stuff, and it goes quicker and quicker and quicker. And then you have the ending, and that's your finale pose. You go into the splits, or just stand still, you flip your hair, you blow a kiss, anything to signify ending. So that's the length of cake. And what I've shown here, A, B, C, B, E, F, G, A plus E, those are the flavors. That's how it tastes. It tastes different in each of these parts, and the intro and the ending will taste similar, same but different, as they say in Egypt. But for example, part B and part E might taste completely different. And that is because in the cake is different stuff. Yes, you have the bottom layer of the cake, the crumble could be. It could be crumble, but it also could be the soft dough. That what the rest is built upon. The bottom of the cake is your, let's say, tempo. It's how fast you would walk if you would walk it. It's not the rhythm. The rhythm can be doom, tack, tack, doom, tack, tack, but you would walk 1, 2, 1, 2. Or if you have a shiftateli later, slow part, or a wahda kabira, doom. You would walk. Walk. So there, your tempo, your bottom of the cake is a different flavor. Yes, and that if the bottom is different, it tastes really different. Or you have on that the pudding. That could be vanilla flavored, strawberry flavored. That would be the rhythm. It's not the speed, it's the rhythm, and they are connected, yes, but you can have a fast maksum or a slow maksum. So there can be 2 maksums, but one of them is a different speed than the other, and they feel different. They taste different but similar. So if you have pudding, it can be ayub, or ayub would be doom kadum tek, doom kadum tek, doom kadum tek, or doom tek tek, doom tek tek, doom tek tek. That's the same bottom, and the pudding is different. And if you are unlucky or lucky, in your intro, in your part A, you can have these 2 rhythms interchanged. So you have a very interesting piece of cake. You'll have vanilla, chocolate, mixed, all in the intro. So you can have doom kadum tek, doom kadum tek, doom kadum tek, and then doom tek tek, doom tek tek. One song that does this is Fadah by Hossam Ramzi. He has an intro where the rhythm changes and you're not sure why, but you're running and you're dancing, and sometimes you feel a bit heavier and then you go again. And this is because the pudding just changed flavors and it flips. You will do this instinctively, but it's good to know. You will listen for music differently once you know you're actually in the pudding zone. Studying rhythms will give you a great feel of puddings. And walking on a song will give you a great feel of the crumble, the bottom of the cake. So you can give yourself better ears, bigger ears, by walking on a full song and by focusing on the rhythms of a full song and diving into different rhythms with different teachers. If you want to be great at the folkloric bits, take classes with Egyptian teachers, so you really get a flavor of the background. Even if you will never perform these folklore dances as they are, you will have more richness and you will not be scrambling for steps. You can improvise, but know it's Saidi because it feels Saidi. And I'll give you a tip, a body tip, to at least get to the earthy or elevated levels for different rhythms. If you go from Saidi into a classical pudding, you will notice that you go from nice and heavy and earthy, and this can be in any type of dance, maybe even, I don't know, in burlesque, if this also happens, that it goes from a deep voice to lighter and then to heavy again, or from very strong sexy to flirty and light and strong sexy. So I would say that will be kind of your pudding, your atmosphere. And you can lift and drop your center of gravity to connect with that. So you can do this with your body without changing your steps. You can be doing a hip circle heavy and a hip circle light, or a step heavy and a step light. That's more easy. And this, having this in the back of your mind, will make you more connected to your music, and your audience will connect to the music. So you'll be a better translator, and it feels right. It feels like this works. I don't know. A is outside the picture. Yes. Excuse me. There you go. So these were the flipping pudding inside one piece. Okay. Then on top of the pudding, you have fruit. There's different fruits. So this could be cherries. I know this doesn't, maybe vanilla and cherries, that would work. So different fruits, that will be your melody or the instruments. That's on top of the rhythm, and it makes it nice and juicy, and it makes you also see your dances. Many dancers are either more on the rhythm with their ears naturally or on the melody. And sometimes, if you're lucky, in a piece, the melody will be more clear and then the rhythm will be more clear. So you will know what is important, but if not, listen to both, but focus on one thing only throughout the song. Don't get tempted to only listen to what catches your ear the first time. You listen to it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 times, once for each thing. Once you walk, once you think of the rhythms, once you look for the fruit, the melody, and only focus on the melodic instruments, ignore the rhythm, just to train your ear, because what's nice in rhythms, in melody, is it repeats. It has phrases, it breathes. Usually, if the rhythm or the pudding is regular, the melody will kind of follow a few repetitions, blocks of this rhythm. So if the rhythm is 4 counts, 4 steps long, your melody may be 4 or 8 or 12 or 16. It's always, it doesn't stop in the middle of a rhythm phrase. So you will know, you will feel it, that when the melody ends, the rhythm also starts again on 1, or there's a new one. So your melody always fits within this, because when you go to a new piece of cake, the rhythm changes, the melody also, it might have an echo, but it always matches. It goes on top of your pudding. Your pudding and your fruit, it goes together like that. Anyway, the melody, if you breathe, you will feel when it ends and repeats. So this is something to listen for. It goes la 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 boop, la 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 boop. So repetition is your friend for melody, because then you know, okay, if this repeats, I can repeat. Maybe not on the same spot in the performance space. Maybe I can go from that side to that side of the stage, do something the same or similar, and for the audience it will be like, oh, I know this part of the melody, it repeats, but it's kind of different because this dancer is in a different spot, or to change her direction. So those are the things to work with. You don't need to find new steps for everything. If music repeats, you do a variation. You just change where you are, or where you look, or how you turn yourself. All right. So fruit can be different here, and you can have the same melody on top of different puddings, and it will still taste different. You can have one melody on top of your intro, and the same melody comes back in a taksim or on top of a shifteteli, and it will feel like more slow, more mellow, like in film music. You will have the same film theme, sometimes active, sometimes slow, sometimes romantic, but it's the same melody all over again. So this fruit, you can find it again, and it will still taste different if it's on top of different pudding with a different bottom. Then the good part comes. I hope you're hungry after this class. After that, you've listened to the melody, you found the repetition or not. You have the goodies on top, the whipped cream, and those are the accents, the little surprises by the musicians. And those are usually the parts where you do a little pose, a little wink, a little flourish with your skirt, a flip with your hair, or just you look, something to catch those little accents, because it's such a shame when there's whipped cream and you don't eat it. I mean, if you eat that, it can be anything else. A topping, I would say. Those are the toppings. The little bits of surprise that give it something extra, that make this part of the melody different than that part of the melody. And also the musicians, their personality comes out in the accents, and your personality comes out in the accents, because they are so unique. There's no rules for them. You will feel what. I saw a dancer one time, there was a little ding in the music, and all she did was a little wink. But it was so well timed that I almost cried. It was so cute, and it made me hear the little ding. The audience can easily miss these accents if you don't catch them. So catch at least one in the next song that you use. Yes. You don't have to do everything all at once. You don't have to do pudding, fruit, topping, and rhythm. You can choose. You can walk on a shifted telly even when there is melody. You can work your way up to one accent and then let it ring. You can just focus on the rhythm for a bit, even if there's a lot of other things going on. You as a dancer can choose to highlight your favorite bits once you have listened to everything. Then you have much, much more to work with. So that's your anatomy of a majesty. And it works more or less for different music. Classical music also has this, maybe not all the layers, but a few layers will be in any song that you know. Hopefully you will find them. Yes, that's this chapter. Have a sip of water. A sip of water. We'll move a bit again before we go to the next bit. I will send you a link to YouTube to Fada. Maybe I can play it now, and you can hear maybe. Yeah, I mean, let's see. Yes, let's do that. Let's get up. I will make you walk to the tempo. Then we'll do something to the rhythm. If I am learning a dance, I do doom, tek, ka. So you can, if you're a teacher or if you have a dance group, you can make yourselves sing a rhythm with your hands. You don't have to dance it, so it's less complex. You can do doom, 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 tek, ka. Yes, tek is middle, doom is heavy, ka is up. Doom, tek, doom, doom, tek, doom, tek, doom, doom, tek. Yes, or doom, ka, doom, tek, doom, ka, doom, tek. Something like that, or doom, ka, tek, doom, doom, tek. So if you do this, you will be embodying the rhythm. You are no longer thinking of the rhythm, but you're doing the rhythm, and that makes it a lot easier to recognize it. So this is also a tip for me, from me. If you want to learn rhythms, be a dork and do this. It really helps, I swear. And you will immediately also notice if the rhythm changes, because it will not fit anymore. Okay, let me see if I can do this. And my iPad is so old that I don't know if the song is still on here, but I'm looking for Fada. It's silver, because it has so many different things. Search music. Yes, okay, are you ready? Let me make some space. So what we're going to do is a mix. We're going to step, or you can walk around the tempo. Then when I say rhythm, we're going to do doom. I know without practice it's hard, but we try tek and ka. Doom, tek, and ka. If you don't know the rhythm, don't worry, just do something. Go for the dooms. If it's too much, if it's too fast, only the dooms, the heavy beats of the drum, from the center of the drum. You can do this, and if you hear something else, you add it. Then with melody, you're going to noodle the melody. Yes, try to, if you would draw it on the whiteboard, you can do that with your body. It doesn't need to look professional. Yes, just so you can feel like, oh, it goes down and up and it goes around, it goes in and out. That. Try to somehow express, if you would draw the music literally, what it would be. No dance movement needed yet. But if it's a shimmy, you shimmy, of course. And then we're going to try to listen for accents. Let's see. Let's see if this works. Shake out your limbs. Let's start with walking so you don't get hurt. Let's see. It will begin with intro. There's no walk, no speed for that, I think. So that's A, that's backstage. You can hear a lot going on, yes? I can try some beats. Melody. Beats. The speed, the walk. It's quite medium tempo, yes? Walk. Now let's try rhythm. Melody. Accent. Dum dum tak dum. Or you walk. Just the accent. Dum dum tak dum dum tak dum. Uh-oh. In between piece. Yes. You can do a melody. This is great for different poses where you go in and out. Ah, you walk this very slow. Very slow. 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 So it feels more sensual, yes? Melody. Here the melody is lower. And it repeats. Here the melody is more up. The rhythm. Ah, it changed. Dum tak tak dum tak dum tak tak dum tak. The walking. Or you walk half. So it's upbeat, but not super fast. But more groovy, yes? Repetition. It's the part again. Now let's listen for the rhythm. It's not so clear to hear. Dum dum tak, dum tak, dum dum. This one you really have to listen for. And that was kind of where you would do the Shakira transition, something really different. Walking is slow. Walking is faster. Melody. Let's listen for the rhythm. It's hidden. That's question answer. So this is in different parts of the orchestra. Yes, so I will also dance it in different parts of the room. I'm gonna fast forward because this one is long. But you get the idea, yes? We go to finale. Same as beginning. Walking with a purpose, a little bit faster than before. It feels, yes? Rhythm will be switched. Doom tack, tack, doom tack, tack, doom tack. Now it goes doom tack, doom tack, doom tack. Now the ABBA repeats. Accent. Voila, and you've danced a full have a sip of water. So that is Majanse, the different cake. Could you see the cake happening more or less? Yes, yes. So now hopefully you'll get an appetite every time you hear Majanse. And this is how you play with it. And also if you have an assignment to make a dance for a competition, it'll give you some relief to just know there's so much in one piece of music that it's too much for one dance. You can start removing things right away or choosing the fun ones, the ones that make you smile. Those are the ones I would advise you to go for. Okay, I'm having a sip of water also. And then we will do, I think, a little bit of question and answer already. Let me read the comments in the meantime. Cheers. Listening and analyzing the music is key. Yes, yes. It will give you so much information, and then you can draw from your experience. And if you miss experiencing something, if you say you're not Saidi expert, but there's Saidi in there, you know it's Saidi, hopefully, and then you can look up Saidi on YouTube. Nowadays, you can do that. Before 15 years ago, there was not so much out there, or you can maybe plan to one day take a Saidi workshop, and you will do it with a purpose because it's in this song and you want to do this song. You will have some connection and some something you can do with it also, and that makes it a lot more fun. See, okay, yes, Carol. Yes, I am very inspired by Aziza of Canada by this. She didn't do the thing. We kind of did that in one of her drumming camps. Me and another girl were being silly, and now it's part of her workshop. So it really works. It really works because for me, I have to embody music. Otherwise, I am too much head. I want to get out of the zone. I know I use my brain a lot for work, and I don't want to overuse it for dance. So I have to physically make myself move to things to make it easier. Yes, and the cake, I think the cake works. It works for me. No matter if you're visual or auditory, everyone tastes. Yes, everyone tastes. Or you can smell the different cakes parts. Right. This counts, as I said, for any piece of music. You may not have everything in there, but it will give you some way to approach it and a reason to listen to it more often. Now, to mix the self-care part with that, I would advise to listen to music maybe with your feet up. You don't have to be moving all the time. If you need a rest, just put the music on, put your feet up against the wall like we do on Boost on Tuesdays, and then listen to it and try to visualize, is it slow or fast? And try to imagine, am I hearing the rhythms? And then you listen for the melody, and then you listen for the accents, and then you listen to it all over again, and you see if you hear it differently than before. And second thing, making dances, you don't have to have a studio or you don't have to have physical energy to make dances. That's my, I think, final tip. You can lay down on the floor like we will do in a minute and just visualize what you will do. It's enough. I make most of my dances in the car driving, which I don't recommend because I miss exits if it's really exciting. I listen to music when I go to ballet and back. And it helps me because it's something where you don't have to do too much. If you're folding socks or if you're cooking something not too complex, if you're doing something with your hands, it helps you to visualize. Or if you just lay on the floor and you need a rest, you can also visualize. Or in the shower, you can visualize what you want to do. Does this feel like I'm traveling? Does this feel like I'm standing still and dancing? Does this feel external and needs a big space? Or does this feel like, oh, this is kind of like internal and yummy and small? Or is this very buoyant? Is this earthy? Is it light? These things you can visualize, and then movement ideas will start connecting. You're activating your subconscious and it will give you movements that go with it. So you don't have to do all the work squeezing your brain for moves. You can do a little bit of that, maybe even a lot of that, just in rest zone. That's for the beginning, before you start making the dance. Then you dance it and you may have to adapt because your body may not be able to do what you envisioned. Usually happens for me like, oh no, this does not work at all. But at least you have a start. And if you have a start, you can start building a structure around it. I usually film myself improvising a song to have the first version. No matter what it is, if I want to choreograph or not, I film the first one so it's fresh before I overthink it too much. And then I do the visualization, usually, if I can. And if you're lucky, you will like some bits and you can keep those and build around it. Another way to get creative for choreography or improvisation is to work with parts of the stage. That's the final thing I need my whiteboard for a moment. So, Pussies, you know this, we did this for intros. It counts for intros, but also for the middle of a dance. If this is your dance space, and you're laying on the floor with your feet to the audience. So you're laying on your back, like this. The audience is here, your head is here, this is your left hand, and this is your right hand. Then you will know where you are. Where your head is upstage, and all stages, they were slanted like that to make acoustics better and to make it easier to see. So if you don't know where you are on your back, up is the back of the stage, that's upstage. Downstage is your feet. Stage left is your left hand, I know it's mirrored, and stage right is your right hand when you're on the stage. The audience, if you're the audience left will be stage right, audience right will be stage left. So if you ever need to communicate with a light person and they want to know where you enter so they can give you light, or then imagine yourself laying on the floor, feet to the audience, and you will know stage left or stage right. This is a golden tip because you don't want to be stuck in the dark. Anyway, these spots on the stage are good to know because they will give you different strengths. So let's say the audience is here, the people, and this is the back of the stage. You have the area in front, so this area. You have the area in the middle and the area in the back. The area in the back is where you are abstract. You will be artistic in the back. So if you have an intro with lines or a prop and you're not communicating to the audience anymore, you're just art. That is great for the back of the stage. If you are in the face of people, you're making jokes in your drum solo or Saidi and you're doing this or it's pop song, you go all the way up to the front and you become a person. Yes. If you're in the middle, you are an artist. You are person and art combined. So in the center of the center, that's where you are a dancer, I would say. So a person, a piece of art, and a dancer. And this way you can also play with improvisation or choreography. When do I want it to be art? When do I want it to be a person? And when do I want it to be the middle? And this is the strongest point on the stage, the center of the center. Got this from that one book. Any power move, any finale or the beginning of your first hip drop, when the dance really starts, you want to make sure you are here in the center of the center. It's the best light, it's the strongest impact for the audience. So if you have an intro, you're A and you're kind of traveling around, make sure, time it well. You may have to scoot, you may have to slow down, that you end here right when the transition to the big kaboom, the beginning of your dance is. That's where you are. Same thing I think for burlesque. If you're doing something that's impressive and you want the audience to really catch on, go here, go to the center of the center. Right, and another thing you can do is you take a piece of paper and a pen, you put the music on and you start drawing where you want to be. I want to be here on turn. I want to go here. I want to do this melody bit and play here. Then I want to go to the center for some spins. And then I repeat and I want to go here and do the same as I did there. This way you have a walking plan, a plan for where you want to be, also when you want to travel and when you want to be in one place. If I'm in one place long, I make more circles. So I will know afterwards, okay, is my dance balanced or did I completely forget this part? Or is this bit completely ignored, then I know how to balance my dance without putting the steps already on virtual paper. So I can make my dance abstract and then improvise or choreograph. But this really helps to know when you want to be where also. Much theory, yes. And we will work on all of that body-wise more in Boost. I'm going to have to make it short. If you have 4 more minutes, we can do the final bit. If not, if you need to go, I will give you the recording also. Let me know if you have any questions up till now, so I'm sure to include them. And then I'll go to my notes to see if I have any. So yes, the floor plan is clear, yes? When you are artist or not, maybe already you have ideas now how to do this. I have not talked about props at all, because this counts for with and without props. It doesn't matter if you have props or not. Maybe in the intro you want to have a prop to flourish and then you throw it away for new props, or maybe you have a prop that you use for the whole song, and you can make it different in the intro than in the finale. This also will make it a bit more clear what to do with it. If you go all the way to front and you have wings, you can be playing with the audience. And if you go all the way to the back, you'll be more abstract. So that's how I use wings, for instance. If I go front, I'm being playful. If I go back, I'm being art. And yes, that also makes it more interesting for the audience. You don't have to repeat, or you don't have to change your dancing. You can just change elements. And that's my final bit. What you use before putting steps is ideas. And that means up or low. Is it up or low what you want to do? Is it outward or inward? Are you facing the front or facing diagonal, facing this diagonal, profile, back or back diagonal? Those are 9 directions you can play with. Are you doing a level change or not? Are you on the floor or are you lengthening? And are you traveling or not? All of these are opposites and contrasts that you can play with without saying, I'm doing this or that. Can you repeat please with the left and right on stage? Yes, okay, Nancy, if you lay on the floor like this, like this, where your feet are is the audience, stage down, your head is upstage, your left hand is stage left, and your right hand is stage right. And I have laid on a stage once in my life just to remember this. So if you get on a stage, do this, and you'll have the visual for the rest of your life. It helps for group dances also. Okay, so up and down, out and in, big and small, slow and fast, different directions. This is what we'll do as our cool down. So you have everything and you tried it once. And then in Boost, we will play with different things. We will go into the internal taksim, we will go into accents, we will do how to change from earthiness to up. So all of that, I know there's no time for this in 1 hour workshop, but this is what we'll do in Boost. And I'll draw the lucky winner after we do the cool down. Otherwise, I don't want people who are going away to not have cooled down. Yes, exactly. If you communicate for performance on stage, stage left, you will know. All right, let's get up. Let's get up again. I'm all flushed from talking so fast. And we will play a little bit with different concepts. I will tell you how to make dance earthy or elevated. I think that one is the best to play with. A little bit of music. Okay, little tip. We're going to do some belly rolls just to warm up. And if you want to relax your back, just put your hands here and roll. This you can do backstage also. Yes. And then think of the part where your belly button rolls in and down, and don't let go. Don't let it go out. Just in and down, in and down, in and down. Now keep it in and down, and walk like that. Walk like that. Belly button in and down. You may feel like there's some heaviness here. when you do that. In and down, in and down. Okay. Now do the opposite. You're doing a belly roll, and you pull up and in before you come down. Up and in, up and in, up and in. Keep it up and in, and walk. And now you may feel more like this part. Yes? Again, in and down, and walk. And up and in, and walk. For me, this feels totally different. And if you want to do saidi, like this, and you pull in and up, it's like a deer on ice. It doesn't feel like you're connected to the floor, but it's great in and up for turns and for up stuff, for your intro when you need to travel fast. So pulling up and in, it'll help you stabilize here, and it'll give you a bit of top heaviness. Yes, so up and in, you can see, it makes it easier to do this. And anything up and light, it'll give me quickness on my feet. Yes. And now the opposite, in and down. Try this. It's like you're being pulled and glued to the floor. It doesn't work so well for up, but it works really well for earthy bopping, including saidi. I always pull in and down if I want to bring the energy like to the earth, to the sand. Yes, and if I want to pull it up and lighten up like the intro usually is, that's when I do that. So let's play with that just for cool down. I'm rolling and moving just to warm it up. And in Taksim, you can play with both. Let's roll in and down. Earthy, earthy. Yes. Up and in. Keep it there. Up or down. And again, roll it in and down. Nice and juicy in there. You can see if my legs are bent in the mirror. Yes. In and up. And I'm coming up. Up on the heels. Let's walk. And down. Walk. And you see my hips kind of want to sway. Yes. Now pull in and up. And it's moving a bit more in the upper body. And my arms are easier to lift. Let's try the hip drops. I'm hip dropping. Pull in and down and hip drop. My hips are more heavy, yes? Pull in and up, and hip drop. And it's more like ding, ding, ding. And then down and hip drop. Woof, woof, woof. Now circle, in and down. Circle in and up. It stays up. Pull in and down. And you want to bend your legs automatically, yes. And up. And pose. That's the middle for balance. Yes. All right. So that's a little taste of how you can use your body for different pudding. Yes, for different parts of your cake, just by changing one little thing. There's more you can do, but I think the center, that one I wanted to give to you because that one is something you can use for everything. Thank you, Crystal. Okay, that was it for, I think, this topic. If you have any questions at all, let me know, but I think we covered so much that the questions will come in 2 days. Anyway, I will send you the video of this, the recording, as soon as it's ready. You can also find it via the receipt of the workshop. If it doesn't work, just click the Magency/free link again and you will get now the video automatically. Just wait for my email today. Also, those of you who want to join my online boost classes, we start tomorrow and we will work on making dances for 12 weeks or different themes. As you know, I'm a dork, so it will be dorky, but it will be a bit more movement. We didn't lay on the floor or did the weights. I suspected there would not be time for that, but Boosties will do that starting tomorrow. We still have spots. You can enter whenever you like and you can get the recordings if you cannot join live. It will be Zoom and Facebook. Thank you. You will get a discount and I will be doing a giveaway. I know some of you are waiting to see if they won. If you're a Boostie and you win, you can get a refund or you can gift Boost to a friend. Yes. Any questions pop up later, let me know. This workshop, you joined it, so I am also here for your questions if they come later. Just write to me. I'm online too much anyway, so you can find me on Facebook or on Instagram or via email. I'm happy to answer because it inspires me also for my Boost classes. So if you have questions, no matter if you're a Boosty or not, if you take this workshop, send me your questions and I'll do my best to answer them. Let me see. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this. I'm doing this for my fun also. Selfishly, I wanted to geek out on this topic because I've been not dancing so much the past 2 years, but all the things I'm learning in martial arts and in the ballet classes I take, I notice it's connected. It doesn't matter what hobby you do, after some years, you can connect things from anything you learn. And I think that's important to know. Knowledge is never lost. Even if you're not doing dance for a while, anything you learn from other places, you can still put it in doing what you love. So thank you for being here, everyone. Anyway, without you, I would just be speaking in my living room to my husband, who doesn't really like this topic so much as me. So I'm happy to get to share it with like-minded souls. So I hope it inspires you. I hope you will have ideas for dancing or a bit more confidence, maybe. That is always the best thing. If it makes you feel like, okay, I know maybe not what I'm doing, but where to begin. I have an idea of the possibilities. Then my goal for this workshop is. You may speak, by the way. You can unmute yourselves. I forgot to do that. I will stop the recording. So then I am here for you. Bye bye. Thank you for doing.